class. Fortunately, the teacher was a real babe. "Are you Duncan Dougal?" she asked in a kindly voice. When I nodded, she smiled. "My name is Miss Carpoo. I'm glad you finally made it." "She'll change her mind when she gets to know him," somebody whispered. People started to laugh. It was nervous laughter. The whole 7th grade seemed a little twitchy. Being back in school had everyone thinking about the alien again. Miss Carpoo went back to what she was talking about, which was how to use the equipment without hurting ourselves. Except she wasn't very good at it because she managed to burn herself almost immediately. For a minute, I was afraid she was going to cry. Instead, she turned and ran out of the room. The class got a little rowdy then, and the man catcher came in to shut us up. Naturally, he blamed everything on me. As if things weren't bad enough, at lunchtime, this huge 8th grader named Orville Plummer came up to my table and said, "Hey, kid, you Duncan Dougal?" I looked up. "What about it?" Orville smiled a nasty smile and said, "I'm going to turn you into dog meat." "What did I do?" I asked. "Nothing," said Orville. "I just don't like your face. Come on outside so I can rearrange it." "Oh, shut up and sit down," said a voice from behind me. It was Susan Simmons, the girl who had unmasked the alien last spring. Susan Simmons, who walked up to Orville Plummer and said, "Go away. You want to know the amazing thing?" Orville went. I turned to Susan. "How did you do that?" I asked. She shrugged. "Ever since last spring, a lot of people have been afraid of me. Orville probably thinks I stole some secret weapon from Broxholm." "Is that true?" I asked, remembering the way Broxholm had melted the school doors shut when he was making his getaway. I also remembered how much time Susan had spent exploring Broxholm's house. Maybe she had found something there. She just smiled and said, "What do you think, Duncan?" Then she turned and walked back to her own table. Susan had her own group of friends, and just because I had helped her fight the alien didn't mean she was going to let me in. Okay, I guess I hadn't really helped, but I'd been involved. Me, Susan, and Peter were the only ones who had really known what was going on. You'd think that would count for something. Things didn't get any better after lunch. I still hadn't figured out how to get around the building, so I was late for my 6th period class, which was math. "Ah, Mr. Dougal, I presume," said Mr. Black when I walked in. "I will accept your lateness today. However, in future, either be here on time or plan to spend the period in the office." Does your mouth ever do things without your permission? Mine did then. I looked at Mr. Black and my mouth said, "Bug off, Pinhead." About 3 seconds after the words came out, I realized what I had done. I felt a hand grab my arm. "What did you say?" asked Mr. Black, yanking me around. "Nothing," I whispered. Mr. Black pulled open the door and shoved me through it. "You can try again tomorrow, Mr. Dougal. For today, I think you'll be better off out here." If Mr. Black thought I was going to stand in the hall until the end of the period, he was wrong. I was heading down the hall when I saw the fire alarm. I don't know what I figured. I just know that I reached out and pulled it. The bells started to clang. Doors flew open. Screaming kids poured out of classrooms. "It's the aliens! The aliens are back!" It would have been funny, but for one fact. When I pulled the alarm, it sprayed purple ink all over my hand. It didn't take much brain power to figure out that the ink was to mark people who turned in false alarms. Things were in an uproar. Kids were crying. Teachers were trying to get them out of the building. Jamming my purple hand into my pocket, I pushed through the confusion and headed for the back door. It opened onto a loading dock. 3 or 4 empty cardboard boxes were stacked at the far end. Closer to me stood a big green dumpster. I wanted to take off and run, but since half the school was outside, I couldn't do that without being caught. I had to hide. I could see only one place no one would look for me. The dumpster. I ran across, grabbed the lip of the dumpster, and swung my leg over the edge. 4 feet below me waited a smelly mess of banana peels, bread crusts, half-eaten hamburgers, and things too gross to mention. Taking a deep breath, I swung my other leg over and dropped into the dumpster. It was like jumping into a swamp. I crouched there. I felt like I was in a big, smelly oven. How long was I going to have to stay here? When